So anyway, we seem to be recording. All is good. Anyway, so now officially, welcome to the Aaron and Harry show. Good turnout tonight. We're in a very good mood.
Yep.
Tonight's going to be a fun show because we're talking about a pretty fun topic. We're breaking with format. We might spend 2 segments on this because it's so interesting. We've already been talking about it a little bit in a little bit of pre-show chatter, but in the meantime, why don't we have Harry catch us up on who Eduardo Rosa Flores is, just
Yep.
in brief, so that you'll know what we're talking about here. For anybody who watches it on the via recording, or anybody who wasn't here for that. So, Harry, why don't you
Well,
catch us up?
that Eduardo Rosa Flores came to our attention because of an unusual incident that took place in Bolivia a few weeks ago, and that the Bolivian government claims to have broken up an assassination squad who aimed to assassinate the president of Colombia, and is suspected to have set off a bomb outside the house of the local cardinal a few days earlier, and that of the 5 people involved in the squad, 3 of them, including the leader of the squad, Eduardo Rosa Flores, was killed, and 2 others are in custody. And
So this isn't just a random terrorist organization or small terrorist cell.
yeah,
These guys apparently were targeting Evo Morales.
and
We know Evo Morales had an attempt on his life
and they
recently.
seem to have been fairly well connected because they rented out an entire floor of a hotel in Bolivia, and it's suspected that they're connected to the local business elite. That Eduardo Rosa Flores was born in Santa Cruz de la Sierra, which is recently became the largest city in Bolivia because it's faster growing than the rest of the country. Um, and it's in a different bioregion from most of the population of Bolivia. That
It also
it's
has a lot more white people than
Yes,
the rest
yes,
of Bolivia.
and so it's in an area that's at a low altitude, so it's hot. There's it's sort of grassy. There's it's kind of like an African savanna type environment, and that the area has in the last few decades had an agricultural boom because of basically improvements in plant breeds, particularly of corn and soybeans that deal better with the local climate, and that the barrier to growth in the area before is that it's not good for peasant agriculture. The climate is very inconsistent, and so subsistence farmers would end up starving essentially
I
in
have to
bad
ask a
years.
question of Dada Lama. He just said Arga commercial. Are you guys getting commercials? Because, like, other than just the banner ads, I'd be interested to know that. Um, anyway, one of the things we've mentioned throughout our brief amount of coverage of this guy is one of the most interesting things about him is his vast web presence. Not only was he in this movie, but he has a YouTube channel. He has
Facebook
a
account.
Facebook account, and
A blog.
a blog, and
Yeah.
one of the guys he was working with, had a Bebo account.
Yeah, that in fact, their people have actually found that 2 of the operatives who were Romanians of Hungarian descent, and one of them is currently in Bolivian custody, and the other one was killed, may have actually been recruited through an ad on a website
Which
in
is such a
Romania.
bizarre idea. Anyway, I here's the
And the ad, in fact, said that that they were fighting for Rosa Flores's homeland in Bolivia, which is you would think that someone in some intelligence agency would be monitoring this stuff.
I know
You
it
know,
seems very odd to me.
yeah,
But
that
anyway, before you go on, I just want to say that I just put into the text chat the YouTube page of this guy, and I advise you to check it out. Who knows how long it'll be up? He's dead now, so I wouldn't expect any activity, but it might eventually come down. And it's very interesting and worth watching or looking at. There aren't that many videos, but anyway, continue.
Yeah. So that Rosa Flores was came from a background that his father was a refugee from Hungary during World War II, and
And
then
Jewish.
yeah, and then in Santa Cruz he married a woman from Spain, who that they were active politically, and that this essentially got them thrown out of Bolivia.
But a lot of people
And
were being thrown out
yeah,
at that
and
time.
they went to Chile. This was in 1971, and in at the time Chile was under the it was during the period when Salvador Allende was president of Chile,
Who, as
who
you
was
probably know, was shortly thereafter overthrown in
yeah
a U.S. backed
on
coup.
September 11th, 1973.
In a U.S. backed coup by Pinochet.
Yeah.
He was murdered.
Yeah, that
Allende, if that's who you're asking about, Allende.
yeah.
If you're asking about Flores, he was sort of also murdered, but
yeah,
by the police.
shot by Bolivian police officers.
Which, even though, like, I just watched this biopic of him and I feel, like, kind of warm and fuzzy toward him, I have to say, if he was trying to kill Evo Morales, maybe they didn't need to kill him, but they definitely needed to arrest the guy.
Yeah. And they were pretty heavily armed in there. It's a pretty crazy situation.
When did... you need to tell us who you're asking about. Are you asking about when Flores died? Because he died just like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. That's why this is relevant news, even though we're talking about stuff that happened in South America a long time ago, and ultimately this movie that we watched tonight. So the movie, which we got from a BitTorrent site, is called Chico, and it has a very interesting beginning, because you know how often when movies are based on a true story, they say based on a true story? This said it used some real elements and some fictional elements, and was therefore fiction. And we joked throughout that basically they had said, we're going to probably do some lying. But there was lots of footage, I can say from a filmmaker perspective, that was without doubt real. Footage of bombed out towns and refugees fleeing. I'd say from a cinematic perspective, it was worth watching. It had a real Western type feel to it. At some points it felt like a cross between The Wild Bunch and Saving Private Ryan, but it was kind of low quality. It also reminded me a little bit of Jodorowsky. I don't know if any of you have seen any Jodorowsky films, but I would suggest watching it. But why don't you start off, give a few of your impressions of the film?
Well, of course, I'm less of a cinema person, but I'm more interested in some of the political kind of details that
And geography.
Yeah, and from the movie sort of depicts him as being a fairly committed communist, and